If you're a business owner or fleet manager, pay attention, because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to improve your bottom line. Don't get me wrong, going electric is the cleaner and greener choice. Most businesses and people aren't going electric just because of that. They're doing it because, frankly, electric is a lot cheaper. Allow me to demonstrate. So let's say you're spending 10 euros to refuel your van every single day. Now, here in Malta, we have some of the lowest prices for fuel because of extremely generous subsidies and the lowest tax on fuel in all the Eurozone. But even despite that, out of your 10 euros, 2.70 euros are purely fuel tax. And a further €1.53 is the VAT on that purchase, which leaves us with just €5.77. And it gets worse than that, because if you're using this money to refuel an internal combustion engine, which after 100 years of development is on average just 30% efficient, which means only 30% of this actually goes to the wheels to move you and your payload forward. That means out of the 10 euros we started with, just €1.73 actually go to move you forward. But what if you get the electric Nissan Townstar behind me? Then you can use that same 10 euros to buy instead electricity, which the only tax on electricity is the VAT. So this time charged at just 5%, which means out of 10 euros, you're left with €9.52. Now, the electric vehicle in its inherent design is at a worst case 90% efficient, which means the vast majority of this, €8.56, actually goes towards moving you, the van and your payload forward. The difference there, that's all gonna go to your profits. But you'll tell me, but Luke, that all sounds great, but what about the initial costs? Electric vehicles are very expensive. What about the servicing? What about the charging infrastructure you need to install? And what about the insurance? Well, in today's video, we're discussing all of those topics, and I'm going to prove you wrong to make sure your next vehicle is electric. Welcome to another episode of The Future is Electric. So let's talk about that initial cost, because you often hear that electric vehicles are very expensive. So this full electric Nissan Townstar starts from €43,500, which is discounted from €46,500. Now, you can apply for the €12,000 cash back electric vehicle grant, which already makes it €200 cheaper than its internal combustion variant. Besides that, this is a business expense, so you can get another €6,600 in claimed VAT. And then there's the micro invest scheme, which is going to allow you to claim up to 45% of the cost in the form of tax credits, which is a lot higher than the 30% you'd get in the internal combustion variant. Let's talk electric vehicle servicing. You may have heard that electric vehicles require less servicing. Now, I've spoken to the guys at Nissan and I asked them to give me a price list of everything you will need to change in the internal combustion variant, which you will not need to change in this electric version. For example, the electric van doesn't need any air filter changes, any oil filter changes, or any oil changes every single year. Over, say, an 8-year period, have a look in here. There's no sparks plugs to be replaced, and there's no auxiliary belts, which, again, over an 8-year period will need replacement. Another thing with electric vehicles are the brakes. So, while electric cars have traditional brake pads, they are used far less frequently. That's because when you press on the brake pedal in an electric car, the brake pads don't initiate. What's actually slowing you down is the electric motor, an ingenious engineering move which takes the energy out of the vehicle and puts it all back in the battery for later use. Now, I've added all these up, right? And just parts alone, without any labor, and on the prices of today, not the prices in 5 years' time, you're actually looking at 1,700 euros, which you're not going to need to spend with the electric variant. All right, let's talk charging. Now, you don't actually charge the vehicle from here. This is the fuel petrol cap, which they've left on nonetheless. You charge the van all the way in the front. So right behind the Nissan logo is where your charger port is located. Now, I have two charging technologies here. Your AC charger over there, and that's a 22 kilowatt three-phase charger, which is great because unlike most homes, most businesses do tend to have a three-phase supply, which means you can charge this van for 300 kilometers WLTP range in just over 2 hours. Now, there is also a rapid charging option, DC, found over here, which in this variant is blanked out, so that is optional. And that will give you a rapid charge of the vehicle at 80 kilowatts of power, which is a bit slower than its rivals in the space, but it does charge the van in around 40 minutes. Do you need it here in Malta? Given this is a last mile delivery van, which is going to be sitting idle at night, I don't think so. But what about the charging infrastructure? So, ballpark figure, installing the charging infrastructure at your facility is going to cost around 2,000 euros. The main cost varies based on the length of cabling you will require. Now, the great thing here is there is a Malta Enterprise scheme at the moment, which is going to subsidize 50% of that cost in the form of tax credits. All right, so what about the insurance? You may have heard that the insurance premium on electric vehicles is higher because of their higher value. And it's true, you are insuring the vehicle, not considering the grant. But what is the difference? I went out and got two quotes, one for this fully electric Townstar and one for the petrol version of the Townstar. The difference works out to 360 euros per year, which again, remember, the electric vehicle does not need to pay any road license the first 5 years. That's 0 euros per year, which means that difference comes down even further. Given how much you're saving on fuel anyway, I think this difference in the insurance premium is frankly negligible. So how is it on the road? What's the storage space like and what options are available? Well, that's coming up in the next video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're notified the second that goes live. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure that like button, and you can join as a YouTube member if you want to support the channel. You can even get the official merch. Big thanks to Mavric behind the camera and Nissan Malta for their support with today's video. But as always, I hope I've convinced you and your business that the future is electric.